Hey you guys, so just came from the gym and had something to eat because I can't focus if I don't eat. I can't. I can't focus. And here and there you saw some snippets of me being in the gym this week. It's really hard to be filming in the gym because it's a public place and you do have to respect people's privacy and their space. So I cannot be fully filming and recording where people are walking and doing their own thing. So for me, the gym is a perfect place to just decompress. Anything that is happening that causes a little bit of stress, or you feel just energy building up in your body, going to the gym is a perfect way to get rid of it. I started in the gym, I think around a little bit before I became 30. And the moment that I started to do weightlifting and everything else, I was just hooked. I was hooked to it. And it wasn't until around that period of my time that I really started to look for outlets that would help me strengthen my body, but also would help me deal with stress and work and motherhood and life and just things like that. So going to the gym was a really great way for me to do so. So my advice would be, if especially for creatives and artists, do something that will help you decompress, right? Because without knowing, you are building a lot of energy. And I don't know about you, but I am the type of person that's I'm highly sensitive to energy. So I pick up energy, but I can also walk around with it, even though it's not my own energy. So I do need to have ways for myself to decompress and to release that energy in a healthy, productive way. So for me, dancing is a great way of doing that. Going to the gym is a great way of doing that. And when I'm in a gym, I mostly do weightlifting. A small part of it is movement, flexibility, and also cardio. A lot of times we just don't know it and we are not aware of it. So be mindful of that. Be very mindful of that. That if you walk too long with those energies around you or in you, on you, it's not going to help you. It really is not going to help you. It's eventually you will deal with the repercussions of that, and that is you become tired, you become frustrated, things start to irk you a lot faster, but also just your energy level is lower, and we need our energy. And I really treasure them. I really have a high value for them. So having that back into my life and really being consistent with that and making no excuses, none whatsoever. And also it might invite you to do the same for yourself, right? You still have a life besides being an artist or creator. Remember that. So one of the other videos that you probably have seen is me being in the studio. So I'm back at finishing the second painting of the serie I Am Still King. This is the second king, and it feels good to be in the studio. You might have noticed that I took a break and I wasn't really busy with creating that. There were some things going on in the background, in a personal family atmosphere, but fortunately for me, I've been able to in a healthy way deal with that. So I won't go too much into that because it is a passion. I also noticed that for me, what happens is that when I'm in that state where I just need to retreat and take a break, I move away from doing art, and that is an organic way for me to do that. For other people, it can be, the opposite. They go into art and they release and they find their ways just to just, I wouldn't say distract, but find their healing into art. I've noticed that it happens after the fact. I now have a couple of ideas that I would love to express on the canvas, and you will see them in due time. So that will happen, definitely happen. But I'm happy that I'm back in the studio. I'm picking up that brush and picking up the canvas, and it showed itself also in the work that I was doing. I felt a lot calmer. I felt focused. I felt at ease. And those things are really important for me, that I feel at ease, I feel focused, and nothing is there to distract me, or nothing is bubbling underneath the surface that can have a negative influence on what I do. I think it's good for people just to take take time for yourself, take a break, be gracious enough towards yourself. We don't have to go along with this 24/7 type of culture where people are constantly doing and forcing and enforcing, and you don't have to do that. It is great to see that whatever needs to happen will happen. Whatever opportunity will come to you will eventually come to you. So you don't have to force anything. You don't have to, there's no need to have, there's no need to have this. No. You don't have to have FOMO. The beautiful element about this is that you discover that you don't always have to force things. You don't always have to force things. Sometimes you need to be reminded that you come first. You come at the first place. You are the source. You are the center. So if something happens within the center, then it will have an effect on anything else that happens. But I'm happy, end of the story. I'm happy that I'm back in the studio and I'm painting again, and y'all see that now with the videos that I'm producing and showing you all. I'm happy for that. I'm really happy for that. So in the series of I'm Still King, there is still one painting that I have to create, but that will be towards the end of May that I'm going to create that painting. And in the meantime, I think I'm going to make some smaller paintings. But anyway, one more painting to go for that, and then the series is done. And then the series is done. For those who might not know what I'm Still King is about, I'm Still King is a project that I started where I wanted to depict the vulnerability that is often forgotten or overlooked or denied and dismissed in Black men from the African diaspora. So what I did is that I created my own reference photos, my own portraits of 3 men. And I talked with those men about vulnerability and how they felt about it and what impact it had on them. And I was looking for ways in which I felt that I could depict it in a way that it, speak to people and could instantly show the vulnerability in men, specifically Black men. So that's a project that I started myself. And it's also the way that I basically work in my art practice. I start my own projects, I have my own ideas. And from that, the work will come out of it. It mostly comes out of it in the form of paintings. I started sketching again more. So I am kind of looking whether I want to start a project where I'm just sketching and use that as part of my art practice. For now, it has not really been part of my art practice. This is something that I just do outside of really professionally just creating my work. I think I want to incorporate it more, and I think I'm just going to play around still with the materials that I want to use and how the aesthetic. I think that is it. The aesthetic of what I would like to see the sketches have, and how they are going to, how it all comes together. That is a process. It is a process, and that might be a good thing to share on Patreon. You do have to be a member on my Patreon. But listen, if you're already here and you're following everything that I'm doing, and I know there are some people watching, if you already like what it is that I'm producing over here, take your time to be part of the Patreon. So you won't find it on YouTube. You won't find it on Instagram. You won't find it on Facebook. You won't find it anywhere else. I will notify you all when it's so far and you get to see that on Patreon. Okay, well, that is it. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna take a shower, get out of these sweaty clothes, and continue the rest of my day. I'm gonna give you besos, a lot of hugs, and I will see you next time. Have a good one, y'all.